you ever get that feeling late at night where you just want to put on a good horror video on YouTube? Something you can watch with your friends, your girlfriend, or even just by yourself? If your answer is no, then why did you click here? I know you, I hate you, I know where you are, I'll kill you. I always wonder how to cut your throat. But if so, then I'm here to help you today. I've compiled a list of 5 analog horror series. Welcome, Internet dwellers, I'm Kataga, so let's dive right in. First off, I want to clarify that these are listed in no particular order. It's not a ranking. The titles aren't arranged from best to worst, but rather based on my own personal logic. I just thought I'd mention that before we begin. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 5. The Forgotten Humanoid. Story. As the title suggests, the story takes place on Earth, where we live our everyday lives. But things are a bit different here. The humanoids mentioned in the title are supernatural, otherworldly beings. These creatures are extremely dangerous to humans, leading to constant sightings and brutal attacks, which we follow through various police files and archival materials. The strange thing about these humanoids is that at first glance they look human, yet something is deeply off about them. They display no emotion, their limbs are unnaturally long, and root-like growths sprout from their necks. And what exactly do they do to people? They literally skin their victims to steal and wear their skin. But it doesn't stop there. Once they put on a hunted human skin, they copy their thoughts, their consciousness, and even their personality. Meanwhile, the police are desperately trying to cover up the whole situation to avoid mass panic. Atmosphere. Isolation. Paranoia. Nostalgic dread. Number 4. Truth or Win. Story. The year is 1989, Hungary. A local TV channel named NTV1 begins broadcasting a game show called Truth or Win. At first, nothing seemed unusual about it. The subsequent episodes, however, were a completely different story. Mysterious disappearances start occurring all across the country, and specifically involving the people who participated in the show. So what is the show actually about? It's built on a fairly simple premise, just as the title implies. You answer the questions given, and if your answer is correct, the game continues. The twist is that if someone tries to rewatch certain episodes, they might see a completely different set design and a totally different host. The host could be a man or a woman, but one thing never changes: the core theme. All of this is presented to us by a man who embarks on a deep dive investigation to better understand this entire mystery. Through his research, he uncovers and reveals this horrific, enigmatic phenomenon to us. Atmosphere. Slightly humorous undertones, escalating psychological depth, oppressing documentary style. Number 3. Santa Rosa Aquarium. Story. The management of the Santa Rosa Aquarium builds a massive, multi-million-gallon complex featuring a gigantic tank called Deep Blue in a new sector. However, because the company wanted to maximize profit, they built this massive pool directly over an abandoned, forgotten mine. What they failed to realize is that location actually matters. Troubling sinkholes and deep chasms begin forming at the bottom of the tank, from which an unknown supernatural force or presence seems to radiate. Proof of this comes from the staff. Workers near the water suffer from severe ringing in their ears, headaches, and crippling anxiety. Meanwhile, swimmers hired to perform in mermaid costumes are strictly instructed that no matter what happens, they must never stare into the chasms. Over time, the number of missing persons spikes, mostly children. Multiple items of clothing belonging to guests are pulled out of the water filtration systems. On top of that, visitors seem driven by an unnatural urge to throw themselves into the tank. Despite the missing people and the overwhelming amount of bizarre occurrences, management ignores the danger, continuing operations and constantly hushing up the incidents. Atmosphere, thalassophobia, uncertainty, lingering psychological pressure.
If asked, why are the police here? Say, even policemen enjoy Santa Rosa Aquarium.
Number 2. GreyLock. Story. The plot revolves around the mysterious Mount GreyLock and GreyLock Bionics, where unusual disappearances, bizarre accidents, and unexplainable phenomena have been taking place for decades. The core motif of the series is that the human mind, collective fears, and deep-seated trauma are capable of taking physical form. Anomalies and horrors regularly manifest in the nearby town, feeding directly on the residents' suppressed dark thoughts and repressed memories. And as viewers, we get to witness this total mental and social collapse unfold through 911 dispatch calls, test footage, abandoned home recordings, and classified government or corporate documents. We have to piece these fragments together like a mosaic to get the full picture. Atmosphere. Raw, suffocating realism, body horror, rural isolation, slow burn tension building.
For residents of Berkshire County.
Number 1. Alta Paradise. Story. Imagine crossing the raw, industrial aesthetic of 1980s offshore oil rigs with intense claustrophobia and a heavy dose of deep-sea horror. The story takes place in the dark, abyssal trenches off the coast of Alaska, where researchers and oil companies stumble upon something that should have been left undisturbed. And we're not talking about a couple of alien-looking sharks here. We're talking about a terrifying sea tarantula, a bizarre, tentacled monster capable of taking control of fish to use them as live bait to hunt down divers and the crew. When the expedition drills right through the creature's nest, all hell breaks loose. The crew and the communication lines begin to descend into madness. Through underwater camera feeds, we watch in real time as the dark abyss slowly swallows the entire station, and those who went down, stayed down. Atmosphere. Dark, deep-seated unease, the interplay of silence and suspense. The Haven Archive. Story. Before I get into this one, I should mention that as of recording this video, there's only one episode out so far. However, I still wanted to include it because it's exceptionally well crafted. Despite obviously having a $0 budget behind it, the execution is fantastic, at least in my opinion. Anyway, the story kicks off with a tragedy at an amusement park, where a horrifying slaughter is discovered behind the main stage. At first, the police suspect a serial killer, but based on the evidence at the scene, they quickly realize that no human could have possibly done this. When they bring the bodies to the morgue, one of the corpses mysteriously vanishes after a short while. Soon after, local residents begin making desperate 911 calls. Many report seeing unnaturally tall, humanoid shadows lurking on the streets and around their homes, emitting unexplainable, disturbing noises. Atmosphere. Uncertainty, cold clinical tone, impending doom. Well, thank you guys for watching the video. Have a great day and peace out.